10 million live oxen shipped every year. Most people have no clue. Not where they come from, not where they go, and definitely not what happens in between. It's intense, it's messy, and it's happening on a scale that would blow your mind. You might think livestock transport is old school, just cattle on a truck heading to market. But here's the twist. It's run by AI, tracked by satellites, and powered by systems most people don't even know exist. These animals travel farther than most humans ever will, monitored, measured, managed down to the minute. Some die before they arrive. Others make it in better shape than when they left. Behind it all, real people, real pressure, real risk. Ever wonder how a live ox raised on a remote farm ends up halfway across the world? It's not something most people think about, but the answer reveals a side of agriculture that's equal parts rugged and surprisingly high-tech. Let's start on a Brazilian ranch where the land is wide, the soil rich, and the connection between people and animals runs deep. Ranchers out here still ride horses, but they also use drones. That's right, drones are flying above pastures, helping cowhands keep track of the herds and guide them toward the corral systems. This is where tradition meets technology. The goal? Less stress on the animals and more control for the team on the ground. Once the oxen are inside the corrals, it's time for a full checkup. Vets run detailed inspections, checking everything from temperature and hydration to hoof condition and respiratory health. It's not just about looking the animals over. This is about certification. Weight is logged, health status is tracked, and each ox is fitted with an ID tag that links to digital records. These documents follow the animal through every stage and are absolutely critical for international trade. Without them, that ox doesn't go anywhere. When the animals pass inspection, they're moved into high-standard transport trucks. These aren't the old rattling trailers you might picture. These are custom-designed vehicles, built with soft rubber flooring to protect joints, misting systems for cooling, and even subtle lighting to reduce anxiety. Oxen are heavy animals, strong yes, but vulnerable too. Stress lowers their immune response and risks weight loss, both of which hurt their export value. Agriculture at this level becomes a science of care and detail. From the ranch, they head to quarantine stations or export hubs. These facilities, often located near Brazil's major ports like Santos or Rio Grande, act as holding areas while the oxen clear final checks. Every animal is monitored closely: nutrition, behavior, temperature, hydration. Vets and tech teams work side by side, using smart tools and real-time tracking to make sure nothing gets missed. You could say these spots are like livestock waiting lounges, only with a lot more paperwork and medical oversight. After the green light, it's time to move again, this time onto the sea. Live export ships are their own kind of machine. Think of them like multi-story animal hotels with ventilation systems pumping in fresh air, water lines running around the clock, and silos packed with enough feed to last the voyage. Some vessels even have onboard veterinary teams and tech-based systems to monitor air quality, feed levels, and animal movement. It's a floating operation that combines agriculture, technology, and logistics at a massive scale. Not every route takes to the sea, though. In Australia, for example, trains play a bigger role. The rail systems there are designed to move livestock across vast inland regions before they ever see a port. These trains are fitted with features to protect the animals, like shock-absorbing floors and onboard hydration setups. Every leg of the trip is carefully timed to minimize stress and fatigue. And when the stakes are really high, say transporting elite breeding stock or genetically superior animals, airplanes come into play. That's right, cargo planes with special enclosures designed for live oxen. It's expensive, sure, but when the animal is worth tens of thousands of dollars, the cost makes sense. These flights are short, efficient, and tightly controlled. In the world of high-value agriculture, this is where precision meets speed. Behind all of this is a layer of tech that quietly keeps everything moving. Centralized tracking platforms monitor travel routes, weather conditions, animal vitals, and port schedules in real time. Logistics managers can reroute trucks if there's a road delay or adjust feeding schedules mid-ocean. It's like a mission control for livestock. And when you realize these systems have to sync up across continents, languages, and regulations, you start to get a sense of just how advanced the operation really is. Now, it's easy to miss the role agroforestry plays in all this. But it matters. A lot. On many Brazilian ranches, trees are intentionally planted alongside grazing areas. These trees offer shade, boost soil health, and create microclimates that reduce animal stress. It's not just a sustainability measure. It makes economic sense, too. Healthier oxen handle transport better and fetch better prices. Agroforestry isn't a trendy add-on. It's a quiet backbone in the larger agricultural ecosystem. So here's the big picture. An ox can be born on a small farm under the Brazilian sun, raised among trees and open land, and then, through a mix of coordination, care, and innovation, end up on the other side of the planet. It's not magic. It's agriculture, technology, and logistics doing what they do best. And while the process is impressive, it doesn't come without pressure points, because moving live animals across continents is a serious task. As smooth as it looks on paper, things can and do go wrong. Animal stress, long trips, unpredictable weather, and international politics can all throw wrenches in the gears, and that's where the real problems start showing up. Moving live oxen across thousands of miles might sound like a logistical masterpiece, and in some ways it is. But let's not kid ourselves. It's also a high-stakes juggling act with 1,000 things that can go sideways. While the whole thing looks polished on the outside, there's a grind behind the scenes that even the best operations can't completely smooth out. Start with the obvious. Oxen aren't cargo. They're living, breathing, 500-kilo animals that eat, drink, sweat, and stress out. That last part's a big deal. Stress isn't just a mood. It's a physical condition that weakens their immune system, affects weight retention, and increases the risk of illness during transport. Imagine being crammed into a moving enclosure, surrounded by unfamiliar sounds, smells, and movement for days or even weeks. That's the reality. And unless it's managed right, the entire operation can tip from profitable to problematic fast. Food and water become non-negotiable, not just because the animals need them to survive, obviously, but because if hydration or feed routines are interrupted, the fallout can be brutal. Dehydrated oxen lose weight, their digestion slows down, and before you know it, you're not shipping high-quality livestock anymore. You're risking spoilage, loss of value, and possibly death. Tech has helped here, sure. Automated watering systems, feeding schedules, and real-time monitoring. But nothing eliminates the need for constant vigilance. One system glitch in the middle of the ocean, and it becomes a race against time. Then there's temperature. This one's sneaky. Animals generate body heat, and when you pack hundreds or thousands into one space, that heat builds fast. Without proper ventilation, those enclosures turn into pressure cookers. In hot zones like the Middle East, live export ships sometimes pull into port only to find the outside tens are too extreme to offload safely. Meanwhile, the oxen are still on board, still sweating, still burning energy. You can't just flip a switch and cool them down. It takes preparation, equipment, and often backup plans. Because once the heat's in the system, it's hard to get it out. On land, things aren't much easier. Some countries require rest stops every 8 hours. Others insist on mandatory quarantine periods. And if one country shuts its borders, even temporarily, your whole supply chain gets rerouted. One outbreak of foot and mouth disease in a single province can slam doors shut across multiple countries overnight. That's where geopolitics shows up to the party, usually uninvited. Agriculture meets international law, and exporters have to pivot fast or take a financial hit. And let's talk ethics. You've got groups in the EU demanding the end of long-distance live animal transport altogether. Some want time limits, others want it banned completely. Footage of stressed or injured animals making the rounds on social media has fueled public pressure, leading to stricter oversight and more red tape. Activists argue that transporting live animals is inherently cruel. Industry leaders argue that with the right controls, it can be humane. The debate is hot, and it's not cooling anytime soon. Incidents don't help. There have been cases where ships carrying thousands of animals have caught fire, capsized, or simply sat offshore for weeks due to customs delays. Each time, the backlash intensifies, and while those are extreme cases, even minor delays cause problems. Animals get sick. Feed supplies run low, crew members get stretched thin. You're looking at a delicate system that doesn't forgive mistakes. Ox mortality during transport isn't a stat anyone brags about, but it's tracked closely. Some companies have worked to reduce mortality to below 1%, which is a significant feat. But when you're shipping 10,000 head of cattle and even 1% don't make it, that's 100 animals lost. And that weighs heavy, financially, ethically, and reputationally. Tech plays a role here too. Biometric sensors, real-time tracking, and predictive analytics help. But they don't replace boots on the ground, or in this case, deckhands on the ship. Climate concerns have added another layer of pressure. Environmental groups are pointing fingers at live exports' carbon footprint. fuel-burning ships, water use, methane from stressed animals. Some markets, especially in Europe, are starting to demand proof of sustainability. That means producers are expected to show not just that their oxen are healthy, but that the entire system they move through aligns with climate goals. Agriculture is being pulled into the same green conversation that's reshaping energy, fashion, and even tech. Then there's spoilage risk. Even in perfect conditions, animals can get injured, lose too much weight, or pick up infections. If those issues aren't caught in time, they can make the entire shipment unusable. Exporters then face not only the loss of product, but the added cost of disposal, regulatory penalties, and strained business relationships. It's like walking a tightrope over a minefield. The margin for error? Thin. Let's not forget human burnout. The teams who handle these oxen, drivers, handlers, deck crews, vets, are under massive pressure. Long hours, tight deadlines, unpredictable conditions. When people get tired, mistakes happen. Mistakes that cost money, or worse, lives. Managing morale and fatigue isn't just a labor issue, it's a business strategy. The best-run operations treat their human teams with the same level of care they give their animals, because one supports the other. Now here's the twist. Despite all these challenges, the system keeps moving. Why? Because the demand for quality beef is massive, and many countries can't produce enough themselves. So exporters adapt. They innovate, they build new infrastructure, update tech, and rewrite protocols. But some are starting to ask a bigger question. What if we didn't have to move live animals at all? What if there was a better way to meet demand without the risk, the stress, and the long haul? Turns out that conversation's already happening, and it's shaking up the industry in unexpected ways. Most people think of livestock export as stuck in the past. Big animals, long hauls, not much else. But things are changing fast. Agriculture, powered by smart tech and better systems, is stepping up to meet the moment. The ox trade has started moving with sharper eyes, smarter tools, and a surprising level of efficiency. Take the collars, for instance. Not decorative, not old-fashioned tags. These are smart biometric devices. They track heart rate, temperature, movement, even signs of stress. It's like a health check on autopilot. This kind of monitoring lets handlers act fast, prevent illness, and reduce losses. When an ox's condition drops even slightly, the alert goes out, and that tiny bit of foresight can save thousands of dollars per shipment. The vehicles themselves are no longer just moving boxes. Truck fleets are being rebuilt with soft flooring, climate control, and water misting systems to keep animals cool in hot regions. But here's the part that surprises most people: routing software. AI now maps the best paths for comfort, not just speed. It checks for roadblocks, weather conditions, even stop availability. These details matter more than you'd think. Less stress equals more stable weight, better health, and fewer complications at border checkpoints. Ships have seen upgrades too. Some are now converting animal waste into usable energy on board, which cuts emissions and reduces environmental impact. Fans and ventilation systems run around the clock, and some even carry full-time veterinary teams. These changes may sound small, but they make a world of difference during multi-week hauls. Animal welfare isn't just a moral priority anymore, it's a measurable performance metric. There's also a shift in what's actually being exported. More countries are turning to boxed beef, processing and chilling the meat before shipping it. The animal stays where it was raised, and only the product moves. It's cleaner, faster, and avoids the risks tied to long-distance live transport. It's gaining ground in places like Australia and Argentina, where cold chain infrastructure supports this model well. And buyers? They love it. Predictable quality, easier logistics, fewer complications. Everyone wins, except maybe the old shipping systems trying to keep up. Agroforestry has had an unexpected but critical role here. Farms that blend tree cover with grazing land are seeing tougher, healthier oxen. The trees offer shade, help regulate temperatures, and improve the soil over time. Healthier animals, raised in more balanced ecosystems, handle movement better. Whether that's to a processing plant or a cargo ship, it's not a marketing gimmick, it's smart agriculture. Even air freight, once considered a novelty, is carving out a space. For rare breeds and elite stock, air travel offers speed and controlled conditions that sea or land just can't match. Enclosures are modular, airflow is optimized, and the whole system is fine-tuned for minimal stress. It costs more, sure, but in some trades that premium pays off in full, and behind it all, data. Real-time dashboards are becoming the brains of the operation. Logistics managers now see the entire route, animal status, environmental stats, everything. Adjustments happen instantly. Delays are avoided. Feed levels are checked remotely. The level of control would have been unthinkable a decade ago. But now, it's how modern agriculture works. Of course, these innovations aren't just about ease or speed. They're responses to real pressure, welfare concerns, climate scrutiny, trade demands. Public sentiment is shifting. So are regulations. The systems that survive are the ones that evolve. And those that evolve the fastest, they're already reshaping the future of livestock trade. Still, with all this change, a question hangs in the air. What happens when innovation moves faster than the rules, or faster than the people? And where exactly does the line get drawn between improvement and too much control? Now that you've seen what really goes into moving millions of live oxen across the globe, what surprised you the most? Was it the tech, the risks, the sheer scale of it all? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. We want to know, should live animal exports continue, or is it time for a new approach? And if you're curious about where the industry is heading next, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. You don't want to miss what's coming. There's another video right here waiting for you. Go check it out. You'll see just how deep this world really goes.